So we actually have some live breaking news. I feel like one of those mainstream news jabronis. Dun, 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 dun. But Everson Griffen announcing on Instagram that he will not return to the Minnesota Fighting Vikings for the 2020 season. This is what he said, quote, when I came to Minnesota as a fourth-round pick out of USC, I had no idea how much my life would change over the next 10 years. I realized my dream of playing in the NFL, went to 4 Pro Bowls, and came within one game of playing in the Super Bowl in front of the best fans in the country. More importantly, I became a husband, a dad, and my teammates who became brothers for life. I also stumbled a few times on my journey. Could not be more grateful for the unconditional support and love I received from Skull Nation. There you go. While it was with a heavy heart I say goodbye, I leave Minnesota in the best physical and mental shape I've ever been and have many Pro Bowl seasons to come. Wherever my next stop is, I always be grateful and cheering for the Vikings. Thank you for all the love, support, and memories, end quote. So it's unfortunate that it came to this. I was really hoping that Everson would be back, especially, I mean, the defense is getting gutted. I mean, so much veteran leadership is going out the door. Xavier Rhodes, Andrew Sendejo, Linval Joseph, and now Everson Griffen. And it really is unfortunate because you go back to 2018 when Everson had to take a couple of games off because he was dealing with mental issues, and absolutely rooting for him to make the comeback. He absolutely did in 2019. And last offseason, when the Vikings approached him taking a pay cut, one of the caveats he put into his contract that if he hit certain statistical plateaus, I believe it was over 6.5 sacks, over 57% of the snaps played, that he could opt out of his deal, which he did. He earned the right to hit free agency, and I would have loved to have him back, but also want to be fair to Everson. And I don't think the Vikings could come up with the cash at this point, given their cap situation, even though hashtag cap is a myth. So Everson seemingly out to a different team. And I'm really bummed because Everson is one of my favorite Vikings of all time. Sack Daddy, just the attitude. Just that we always said that Everson played like he would play for $10 and a ham sandwich. Just that he loved the game. He was passionate. He was loud. He was boisterous. He loved his team. He loved his family. He loved the game, and it was infectious. And you could just really tell that Everson was just one of the guys that was just so easy to cheer for. I remember he was. Came in out of USC, had a couple of character questions coming in, but became a great family member, became a great leader on this team, and really was the heart and soul of this defense for a number of years. Came in as a fourth-round pick out of USC in 2010, and then also spent a couple of years as a backup. Actually, his entire rookie deal, 2010 to 2013. He was the backup to Jared Allen and as well as Brian Robinson too, and then he racked up. He did put up, I'm good at math, 17 and a half sacks his 4 seasons as an understudy. And then remember, 2014, when Mike Zimmer came in, the question was, what is Everson going to do? They signed him to that monster free agent deal. And nationally, a lot of the jabronis were like, oh, how can they give all that money to a guy who started one game in his career? Well, Vikings fans, we didn't bat an eye because we knew what you had in a 27-year-old Everson Griffen, that he was ready to be the starter. He was ready to light things up. And for the next, again, I'm good at math, next 6 seasons, he really did. Like, he was the leader of this team, made 4 Pro Bowls, including in 2019, had a great bounce back season, and it was just phenomenal. He ends his time here with the Vikings as the 4th all-time sack leader at 74.5, only behind John Randall, Chris Dolman, and Jared Allen, 3 guys who also ended their careers in a different spot than in purple. But I'm bummed. I really am bummed. And with so many changes on this defense, the fact that you are losing Everson Griffen, I mean, this is an entirely new team. But in terms of replacing him, I do think that it does make edge a bit more of a need in the draft, although this is not a great edge class. So beyond Chase Young, which the Vikings are out of range for, so whatever. But I do think it speaks volumes that Fadio Denebo is ready to step up and ready to be that guy. Played phenomenal last year as a part-time rotational guy. And we've seen that the Vikings are very good at just replenishing the edge rushers, where you have a guy who comes in, either a late round or a mid-round pick, and eventually replaces guys. Because remember, it was Jared Allen and Ray Edwards, and then Brian Robertson replaced Ray Edwards, and then Everson Griffen replaced Jared Allen, and then Daniil Hunter replaced Brian Robinson, and now you have a Fadio Denebo replacing Everson Griffen, as well as Stephen Weatherly, who also could have replaced Everson, is out the door as well. But As far as the Vikings go, I do expect Daniil Hunter to shift over to the right side full time. That's where he played and made a lot of hay when Everson Griffen missed those set of games in 2018. So I think Afadio Denebo is going to be your new starting left defensive end, and we'll see. We will see. Again, this is a rough day for Vikings fans, but this is certainly a changing of the guard as the Vikings retool and rebuild here. Oh, not rebuild. Sorry, that's a buzzword. Reload. This is Kirk Cousins' team. The great Zimmer Hellfire defense has been absolutely gutted, but you do still have a lot of great pieces. You do have Daniil Hunter. You still do have Michael Pierce, the new free agent. You do have Afadio Denebo and Barr and Kendricks and Eric Wilson and Mike Hughes. And Anthony Harris is still on his tag, as well as Harrison Smith is still back there chilling. But overall, I just want to say thank you to Everson Griffen. I mean, he's a great leader, great teammate, and a great player, and will go down as one of the great all-time Vikings, one of the fan favorite all-time Vikings as well. But just really sad to see his time here in purple ending. But your thoughts, let us know in the comment section below. Everson Griffen gone. You know what it is. Skull, production value.